If you have nothing to lose, if you have nothing to lose, you can be a person who's dangerous is not true. You can be a person who's weak is true. When people say you have nothing to lose, then you're going to go ahead and just go crazy if they threaten you of some way. God says that it isn't right for people to speak that way, and it isn't right for people to believe that. It isn't right for people to say, I have nothing to lose, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be the most dangerous human being on the earth if you threaten me of any way. There isn't a way that someone can be dangerous when they have nothing to lose. It isn't true. The thing that they lose last is the thing that they value the least when they say something like that. And the thing that they should value the most is the thing that they lose the last when they speak like that. And that is their life. The breath that they take, the heartbeat inside of them, they lose that. And they cease to exist. People with nothing to lose only cost others more, simply because they're the ones who lose for them too. If you have someone in your life who has nothing to lose, then you're the one who has to help them to change that. Change the fact that they have nothing to lose by helping them to lose nothing, but begin to believe that they can gain things back. Gaining things back is an important thing for people to know, is important for them to share with others so that they care about what they have lost, so that when they regain anything at all, they don't expect that it will be gone again, because that's life. It's not. Life isn't about losing. Life is about gaining. Life is about earning, and life is about working, and life is about living, and life is about sharing, and life is about holding on to what you have until you have a time or a moment that holding on to something is something that you can let go for the sake of another, for the sake of yourself, for the sake of the greater whole, for the sake of something that can help it by being the one that receives it. What we possess, that we went through a path to gain, is sometimes best left for those who need it next, the ones who can earn from it, the ones who can learn from it, the ones who can turn it into something better for even the next. When the original thing no longer has value, but the lessons learned from it are what you can hold and what you can keep, you can be the most richest person with nothing to share or show for anything, but you have yourself to show. The value of a human being is the years they have and what they experience and what they know. It isn't just the failures that they know, but it is the success of going past those failures is what they know is the most valuable thing sometimes that they don't share because they don't know how valuable they are. When God says to me, the people that are the least in society's eyes as those who have been the refuse that has not been able to clean itself up and to find a better path or a better road. They are the people that are the gold that has not been mined. They are the people that will be the gold rush. Is not true. People have lessons inside of them too. But to pontificate is not a good word. But to over exaggerate one person's value when they have no value on the outside is not wrong to say, but also wrong to say, because the value inside is hidden. When the value of someone is hidden from your sight, it doesn't mean that the value they have is only what you judge by what you see. You don't know someone's true value to you or anyone at all until you get to know them. And the only way that you get to know them better is to speak with them and converse and get to know them. When you know someone a little bit better, and you can know someone pretty well, pretty quick is true, simply by talking with them and then sharing a little bit about you so that they can trust you. Because when you don't trust someone with you, you don't tell them things about you, but there's nothing wrong with telling things about you, unless you're in an environment or a life where that is not something that serves you. But if you are in a life like that, where it doesn't serve you to share and be honest with people about you, then it is a life and a life path that is a life that will not last. It will not be a life for most people, the majority of people. Not most, the majority of people, that will not last. A life like that is a life that does not end well, is a life that does not deserve to be ending well. You can have glory, you can have money, you can have women, you can have all the things that people crave for and lust for and be enamored with when they see it. But when you were in a life of distrust, when you were in a life of no trust, when you were in a life of what isn't necessarily lies, it's a life that you don't need. It's a life that you will bleed your own truth and your own goodness from you. So if you have a life like that, then it's a life that you can change. And there's a life like that that is reflected in the smallest lives too. And the smallest lives are the smallest lives that have the smallest amount that reflects any value at all. When a person has no value to other people because they have no money or they have no property of any kind, but that person may have value beyond riches inside of them that they don't even realize, nor do the persons who judge them. When a person finds their passion, a person finds their love, and a person finds their purpose and taps into that gold inside of them, they begin to produce, they begin to work harder, they begin to gain far more simply because they choose. They choose to reach to their calling, they choose to pull from their calling, they choose to do their calling. And your calling can be anything. It doesn't need to be a calling to serve God, because when you have a purpose, you do serve God because you follow His plan, you follow His choice for your life. That is what finding your purpose and having passion for it is. It is God who gives you the passion. It is God who gives you the love. And no matter if you're a person of faith or not, that feeling of passion, that feeling of lust for that passion, for the work that you need to put into it when it doesn't feel like work, is God's gift to you to show you that this is what you love to do. And you love it. That's where the passion comes from. And that's why it doesn't feel like work, because it feels too good to you to feel like work. And then when you make money from it, when you make gains from it, it's just a blessing on top of a blessing for your life. If you choose to live less life, then you choose to give away nothing more than what you don't have to give is true. But when you have nothing to give, then you have nothing that you share, then you have no value only to you. Because there will always be people in your life that see the value in you, but when you are the one that does not like yourself, then you're someone who will lose simply because you don't choose to see the value in others as you see no value in you. But when you are a person of great intelligence, you may also pontificate your own value by saying simply, I value you nothing. Then I value myself more, and I give no reason why. And so I don't need a reason why to tell you you're nothing to me. When a person says they're nothing to someone else and they're intelligent beyond anything that they might know, it is not a reflection of that intelligence. It is a reflection of the least of that intelligence that measures nothing more than their ability to lie to themselves. If you lie to yourself and you don't know what the truth of life is simply because you don't choose to see the truth in you, then you live a life of blind. You live a life without care for what you can do in life that is beyond any measure of goodness that you have ever experienced. Believe in yourself is a phrase that people will tell you, and when people say that to you, it means something. But when you don't like yourself, or when you don't care about yourself, or when you do things that make your life a teared down life, you take what people say and you give it less value, not because it has less value, because when they're not of value to you, when their words aren't value to you, you still put value on some people that don't deserve it. The reason that some people may not deserve the value that you give them is simply because they add to the lesser value of you. When someone doesn't serve your life to improve it better, help them to understand too that a person who doesn't value themselves is a person who doesn't value others, is a person who lives amongst people that does not value enough what they are. It doesn't mean that they're nothing. It doesn't mean that they're less to the other people that maybe know their value better. It is just a testament to the fact that when people choose to be better, they finally decide and know that the value that they had themselves before is a value that wasn't true, is a value that they didn't choose because they didn't know the choice that they had was better for them once they started to look to the better. If you want to have value in another way of living, because misery is the way you live the most of the time, misery is a measure of how much value your life is to you. It is a measure of the value of how you exist. If you have misery and pain, then the value is something that you need to change. But when you have moments of joy, you have moments of love, that is a tremendous amount of love and hope that you can tap into. It is the gold still inside. It's the gold that exists. It is the gold that you have inside you. So if you want to be someone who lives better in your own existence and lies not to yourself, not to others too, who has humility in their veins, who has a desire to be greater than you've ever been, or who just knows that the faith that you have in God is a faith that's real, but you doubt it at every turn simply because God is okay with the doubt as long as you, in the end, believe in you. And when you believe in you, you will believe in Him. And when you believe in Him, you will believe in others too. And belief is something important that people begin with when they have a journey into faith, because there are many people who are just born with no faith whatsoever. Isn't true. There are people who just believe in God and they can't remember when they did, and then they have faith that is their own faith. And faith is something that carries you through. When you carry yourself with faith, and faith can be something that people abandon complete too. But if you're a person with faith and you're a person who hears God and God tells you to do something that you feel is wrong, it isn't wrong if it's something that you know in the end will pay off. Sometimes it is the lessons that you put yourself through. It's not true. God may take away your money, or He may lessen your money. He may lessen your way you live. He may lessen the circle of friends you have. He may lessen your life in a way that doesn't serve you, but you don't see the way it serves you. He does it simply so that you, in the end, can see that when you have learned the lessons that you need to, that He puts you through, that the faith that you had, that you trusted Him to put you through, is a faith that gets you through to the end. Understand, only your faith needs to be what it is to you, and it is not someone else's to define or say. When a faith of a strength of a greater kind is a faith that is measured by a lesser kind, and lesser and greater are things people can say. To say all are the same is something impossible to say, that God says it's impossible to be that way. The only same that there exists is the souls that persist in the universe that God made. The same is not in the flesh. The flesh is not the same. The flesh is meant to be different, and that's why the variety of existence, the variety of life, the reality of the variety of the physical universe is a physical universe that is different in every way, and life is measured differently. But the value of life is something that others may say is a dangerous game that some shouldn't play. That when we value ourselves beyond others, it is not something that we should do, because then we devalue others. And if we find a reason to treat others with less life value, then we may use them as a life that does not matter to us. And when life doesn't matter and resources are slim, then those who have little value are the ones who lose, because those who value them less are the ones who take the resources away from them, and they can take their lives too in the end. It is important for variety to exist. It's important for variety to be what persists. And when we can say that the value that others have is a value that we must not let life in itself as a whole be measured as less valuable no matter what. Life as a whole is valuable the same. We'll leave it at that, and we'll say this. If you are someone who's afraid to say someone is better than you, and you are afraid to say you are someone better than someone else, it is okay, it is right to say that someone else is better than you, but it is wrong to say that you are better than someone else. Is true. There are different ways to say it, but you can measure your own worth. But when you measure your own worth to be more than someone else, you must do it with humility, to understand that who you value is also someone who can gain and exceed your value. They can do it over time, quickly or short. That's the truth of life. So when you judge someone wrong and they suddenly have value and they explode into a greater value beyond you, if you treated them poorly, you pay the price. If they still are in your path, they can hurt you in the end if they are vindictive and spiteful. Treat everyone the same is fine. Treat everyone well is good. Treat everyone with humility and with respect is right. Treat everyone so that you in the end know it's true, that life matters, and so do you. And that's life.